because it's two at the same time. And I think we are live.
Okay.
Yes. Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Hello, 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 everyone. It's Tuesday. Let me see what I can clear up my screen here.
Okay.
And get going, and never can find what I need to find it. And yeah, so welcome to Tea Tuesday, sipping the tea, telling the tea.
Yes.
My CBD tea going.
Oh, hold on. I got some sea moss smoothie right here.
Ooh.
Yes.
So you make it, you don't just do it by itself, you drink it in a smoothie.
I do it by myself. I do it on occasions, just without putting it in a smoothie. I'll just take a teaspoon in the morning and then a teaspoon in the evening.
Yeah.
But today I decided to make a smoothie.
Oh wow. I'm gonna be doing something like, we'll talk about it later. I'm doing something like that later. But yeah, that's see my shot. I like it.
Yes.
All right. So this is where you're welcome to Tea Tuesday. We're here and this is what we discuss. We're here and we're being 50, we're discussing menopause and herbs and CBD and hormonal health, womb health, or overall health. And I'm Sandra Senior, the founder of Irie Salon and Spa, where we focus on relaxation, rejuvenation, and wellness. And, and that's through our services, our workshops, our lives like this. I'm a massage therapist and a nutritional health coach. And just like everything else, I hold many titles. I do many things like you, Gabby, and everyone else out there. And where I'm on this journey, this perimenopausal journey, that's not fun sometimes. I mean, but you know what? It's cool. I'm going to handle it. I'm going to deal with it and learn more. And, it's just, what do they say? It's a season.
Right.
It's a season, and I'm here in this season, just like I've had many other seasons before this. So I'm just going to take it on and deal with it. And our guest today, let's welcome her. And it's Gabby of More Gabby Time. I'm sure you guys have seen her on TikTok or Instagram, just spreading the wealth and health. This it's like she's going to make us better and give you tidbits. I love it. I love it. And, of course, she has plenty of healing products and healing services, and you can do consultation with her. So yeah, just welcome. And I'm just gonna say, let's see. Let me tell the people about you. Gabby's a survivor of a brain tumor. Her brain tumor was tampered with her sight, preventing from the day-to-day activities, including driving and reading. It's like you take those things for granted, but it can become debilitating, and after having that brain surgery, she began to heal her body of hyperthyroidism, gallstones, ovarian cysts, fibroids, and just more things. So it just triggered that. See how one thing triggers.
Yes, absolutely.
So this prompted her to seek more knowledge by changing her day-to-day lifestyle and eating habits. And now she understands what food really does to the body. And with that knowledge, she's now helping others to do the same. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we're here today. We're talking about hormonal imbalances, pretty much PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, the stuff we suffer with. And hormonal imbalances, regardless of there's so many more, much more than that. But of course, as I mentioned before, hormones. And it's kind of like it wreaks havoc on our bodies and And, you know, not only that, we develop cysts, we develop tumors, we
Yes.
develop little masses, lesions,
Yes.
you know, in our uterus and our pelvic
Yes.
area. And, you know, our quality of life, just like we said before, it suffers. You take it off for granted. And in the meantime, you still have to pick up the kids, you have to make dinner, you know, so your quality of life is just like, is shot. And there's information, you look for help, you look towards people, you look to your doctor, but it's constant suffering, I called it, you know, when I was going through it, morning, noon, and night. And there's ups and downs, you know, but it's a constant suffering. And, you know, not only that, it affects your skin, your mood, your libido, your weight.
Yes.
Yes. So much affected. And, you know, it could be so many things that affects, and you're like trying to figure out this time and what's going on. So, you know, like you said, how you had those issues, how did you deal with it? You know, it's learning. It's a journey, just like everything else. And it's that learning. How did you deal with it? How do you handle it?
Well, when I started off like having missed menstruals. So that was the first sign. But the thing about it is that that's not something that, you know, I really paid attention to. It was just like, oh, I'm having missed periods. Okay. And once I started going to the doctor, and found out that I had ovarian cysts and all these issues, I still really didn't take it seriously, to be honest with you. I just thought that it's just one of those things that people go through, and that, you know, it too shall pass. But but then, as you know, more things started happening, and like me having ovarian cysts, and then me losing my eyesight, it all happened in such a short span together. And once I had brain surgery, I said to myself, you know, after the brain surgery, as I was in a hospital, I said to myself, when I leave this hospital, I will never put myself in a position to be here to have to, because, you know, surgery is serious in any shape or form. And to have brain surgery is a serious thing. And you know, you could not wake up, anesthesia, you don't know how your body's going to take to certain medications. It's just a lot of things. And then you're putting your hands in the trust of somebody that don't know you, don't know your family, don't know your grandmother, don't know, have a relation to you, because doctors are today not what they used to be. Like, you know, doctors were selected in a sense back then. Now doctors is like, wake up one day and to keep a line of family or to keep the name up for different reasons. There are great doctors out there, so this is not me to back doctors. They are wonderful.
Yeah, and they're naturopathic doctors.
Yes,
you know, so
absolutely.
There are some great ones.
Right. Yeah, and I'm talking about more the generals, the ones that it's just like, hey, I just do this because it's the status, the, you know, those, like, you put your hands in the life of somebody, like, you know. And so I said to myself, never again. And so once I left there, I said to myself, I'm going to heal my body, and I'm going to find a way. There has to be a natural way. There has to be a way, because, you know, my husband said something to me. So he said, if something can grow, it can shrink. And I kept that in my mind, replaying, because he never wanted me to have surgery or hysterectomy. He was like, you know, but he was like, you know, if something can grow, it can shrink. You just got to find out what is making it grow. And that just opened up my mind to just go on this journey.
Yeah, makes sense. So that's excellent. Okay, so, you know, and then it's the education part of it too, because now you have to educate yourself. It's like, what is it? You know, am I the only one having this? What is it affecting? So it becomes like, okay, like for myself, it was fibroids, and it was, okay, what do you mean I have, what is that? So then, you know, back then, quite a few years ago, not as much Googling as you can do. And I mean, I love myself some Google, like the Google, what do they call it? Google Doctor.
Yeah, Google Doctor.
Google University. So, you know, at the same time, you know, it goes further than that, because we're all individuals. And, you know, what it says there, how is it affecting me the same way? Well, you know, so I had to go deeper and find out what, you know, it was and what to take, why it's happening, because another thing is, why is it happening? Which it could be so many different things, from hereditary,
Yes.
your environment, the toxins in the air,
Yes.
the food you eat,
Yes.
what
Yes.
you put. I always say, what goes in your body and what goes on your body, the two
Yes.
major things to pay attention
Yes.
to.
Yes.
And then that can solve a whole lot of issues. So,
Yes.
it's like, it's not a time to kind of say, you could say, oh, why is it, you give me a moment, like, oh my God, I had my moment, why is it happening to me?
Right.
And then when it got to different stages, and, now there's surgery, and,
Yes.
that terrified me, but,
Yeah.
it was also with that. So, and then I never had, and PCOS also, it's affecting a lot of younger women, I find,
Oh,
too. And
so
what
much.
they say, like, there's almost like 5 to 10% of the the women population have this, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine, and just walking around suffering. So, what can you do, on a day to day? How did you shrink yours?
Okay, so what you said, you hit something on the head when you said now the younger women are suffering. Like, I have clients that are 23 years old. I have some that are 26 and had hysterectomies.
Wow.
So it's really getting to a point where it's really so severe right now. And how I shrunk mine was I found out, what was making it grow. So I said to myself, okay, let me find out the foods, because obviously I'm eating something that is allowing this to, grow in my body. So once I found out that it was the 5 inflammatory foods that I speak about that I say stay away from,
What
which
are
is,
those?
refined sugar, processed food, fast food, red meats, and dairy. Once I removed those things from my diet, I promise you within 2 weeks, I went from having pain every day, shooting down my legs, my back, couldn't sleep, on ibuprofen, taking this, taking that, to changing my diet. And within 2 weeks, I was like, and my fibroids was pretty big, because 16 centimeters.
Oh,
So, and then I had that on top of cysts. So I could feel it so much that I couldn't even toss in my bed. If I turned a certain way, I would get this really severe pain in the bottom. But you constantly have to go to the bathroom, all because it was on my bladder. And once I changed my diet within 2 weeks, there was a big difference. I
2 weeks.
stopped within the first 2 weeks of cutting out sugar, no processed food, no fast food. Immediately, I stopped going to the bathroom, because it wasn't growing anymore, because it needs to feed off those things.
Yeah.
Right? It needs to feed off the sugar. Sugar is like what makes cancer grow, what makes the red meats, the toxins in the body, it makes it grow. It's like a monster in your body. And every time it's like, like the Little Shop of Horror, feed me Seymour, kind of like, you know, thing. And that's what we do
Give me that visual, like, yum, 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 yum.
Yes. So I kind of envisioned that in my head, and I said, oh no, I'm going to get rid of this monster in my body. I really envisioned it as a monster trying to take over my body. And once I started feeding it things it didn't want, it started shrinking and shrinking to the point where visibly, like my skin changed. Like,
Yeah.
you could just see such a big difference in everything. Like, it was amazing. And I said, this is what I'm supposed to feel like.
Oh, like normal.
Yes,
So what
normal.
normal is for you, what
Yes.
just like going through your day without
Yes.
pain, and
Yes.
all those different things. And just to let people know, if you're not aware, what is it? It's little cyst.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can give the definition probably better than I. I'm always trying to
No, go
explain.
ahead. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a little cyst that they collect like fluid on your
Mhm.
follicles.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it affects of course, your ovaries,
Yes.
because so it's like people just think, or oh, it's just like a little thing that attach, but you said yours was 16.
16 centimeters, because I was they wanted me to have a hysterectomy. That's a whole nother story. And I was going to get MRIs of it, and it was like huge, like the cyst. I mean, it was huge. And I know it was because I was in such pain. Woo. And yeah, so
Was that the only one? or there are multiple?
I had multiple fibroids on top of having the ovarian cysts.
Wow.
Yes, yes. And
And just to be sure, like in my case, it was in the uterus, on top of the uterus, around the uterus, on the bottom of the, it's just, it could be with, when it comes to fibroids, it could be just like, so you're getting the PCOS and the fibroids at the time, and which is, you know, large cyst also, tumor,
yes,
you know,
yes,
not benign, but at the same time,
yes.
it's nonetheless that can wreak havoc. Like mine at one point was sitting way in my back, and I know my it was sitting on my kid. Oh my Lord, just, and it was like 2 months of that, and it's like, oh my, I have to get up and go to work. Like, what are you gonna do? Call in? You know,
Right,
you
right.
know,
Yes.
I got to take care of my family. So it was just horrible. And I had a friend,
Wow.
and just to sometimes it affects your what would you say, people don't know or don't think automatically, because I thought I had a kidney infection, and I had
Gotcha.
a friend, she, you know, she was going to the chiropractor because it was resting on her. So you know what I'm saying, it's
Gotcha.
like, what exactly is it, and people don't know sometimes in the symptoms,
Mhm.
and of course if you're not having the regular periods or the other things or the painful periods that come with it, because I like I said, everybody's a little bit different, so it could go wrong. Oh, wait a minute, what is this thing signaling to me? Okay, give me one
No, no
second.
problem.
So yeah, and endometriosis is another one. Do you deal with a lot of clients with endometriosis, or?
Not so many with endometriosis, but I know that.
Keep talking, let me grab my, it's saying it's gonna die. Oh no.
Got you. Yeah, that's okay. Go get your charger. Got to get it charged up.
It's saying it's gonna die. How's that possible? Okay. Problem solved.
Okay, amazing.
It's always something. I had it on the charger. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
So yeah, not so many, but I still write about that. I still talk about it because it's within the reproductive system. It's kind of like enlarged, you know, uterus, like when it sits outside sometime, it's enlarged and it sits outside of where it's supposed to be. It's that too can be controlled with food, with eating the proper things, not keeping it, you know, what our bodies suffer from a lot of inflammatory diseases.
Yeah.
Inflammatory diseases is the beginning sometimes of like all of these things, the avenue down to getting PCOS or getting fibroids. It starts off always somewhere. And
Yes.
the key to it, the major key to it, no matter what, is the diet. You know, like once you remove certain things from your diet, like those inflammatory foods, you're going to see immediately the change in the body, the mood, because it affects your anxiety. It brings on the anxiety and depression. It mimics those things. Well,
Yeah.
naturally, if you were eating a diet, you wouldn't naturally suffer from depression. A lot of people who suffer from depression is coming from these diseases that are giving them those side effects like diabetes, anemia, all of those insulin resistant diseases will make you start to mimic and you start to have mood changes because it's a hormonal thing. You know,
Yeah.
your hormones is out of whack completely. And once you control the diet, you control everything. You know, food will either help you or heal you. And that is my thing that I tell people all the time. You have two choices. There are no in-betweens when it comes to food. And I've learned that there's not, well, I'm gonna do good Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is gonna be all, I'm just gonna do what I want, but I eat salads on Monday and Tuesday. It just doesn't work that way. Food will either help you or heal you. And I always tell people you have to be very intentional when you are eating, because right now, there is this food out here, and we look at food as enjoyment. We see it, but we don't look at food as a silent killer for us. Like we just say culturally, people like to eat. My mom is from the South, and she likes, we eat yams and cornbread and all of those good foods and ribs and all the things that is culturally it's something that means something to us, but now, when we look at food, we have to look at it with the intention like, if I eat this, I'm going to eat myself further into a disease, possibly getting disease. I'm going to eat myself out of it. So now we have to take away the culture that we love, unfortunately, and we have to adapt it in another way. We have to do healthy versions of the things we like, because we don't have to have nasty food. I enjoy food, and I will always enjoy food, but I make versions of what I want in a healthy way.
Exactly. And I always tell people, you don't have to give it up.
No,
nobody's saying to give it up.
I make dessert. We make dessert in here. We make cakes and cookies, and it's just gluten free, and it's going to have no byproducts in it, no red dyes, no additives. So it's going to be delicious, because I'm doing something like that where I'm making a live. People are going to join in. I'm going to show them how to make avocado chocolate cake, and you can do these things. It doesn't have to be nasty. Well, when I say remove inflammatory foods, those are the foods that people are addicted to like drugs. So when I say to them fast food, they go, oh, like it's a shock to them. They almost go, what they literally tell me? What am I going to do? And that is literally almost like, it's mimicking, honestly, drug addicts. It's really mimicking drug addicts who are like, if you take this drug away from them, they loosen it, because it gives them, certain things. Like our brain gets addicted to things. It's dopamine, the addictive nature that we have by eating these foods. They actually make fast food. They make processed food with an addictive additive inside of it. So when we eat it, it triggers something in our brain. So we continually want it to eat it always, constantly. And when you go past a fast food, people could smell McDonald's fries from a mile away. They can go, and you cannot be hungry, but as soon as you smell it, you just kind of something in you makes you want it. It triggers, and you find space in your stomach for you, like, what? I could use a sundae and a fry right now.
Yeah, I just ate, but
So once we can get past that addiction, which usually takes about 14 days, like technically when you are like getting off of sugar, it takes about 14 days. But once it's out of your system, you actually won't even desire it like that. You can see your brain will start to detox. Exactly. Because your brain also has to detox, not just your body, but your brain as well, because you have now made your brain and your body addicted to something.
Exactly. And the test shows, like there's tests showing that sugar is more addictive than cocaine. It's not like, this one just likes it or that. No, it's addicting. You are addicted. You have a problem. You need help for it. Because like you said, food is either going to hurt you or heal you. So you pick one, and find that balance somewhere. And again, we're not saying that you can't have it. We're just saying, make those good choices.
Yes, just good choices. Good choices, because, I always tell people this, when you have fibroid surgery, you can have fibroid surgery 3, 4, 5 times, because they will continue to grow back. Because what happens, and I want to just put this out there, as brown women, we have a lot of medical racism that goes on. It's been happening for so long now that it's become almost second nature. So when I walked into a doctor and I was 389 pounds at my biggest, when, so that all accompanied, having hypothyroidism, not allowing, my body wasn't, able to lose weight. And so I was at 389 was like my highest. So when I walk into a doctor's office, it doesn't matter how clean I look, how nice presented I am, how proper I talk. He looked at me. The first thing he saw was a brown woman. The second thing he saw was, what I say is Occam razor. Occam razor is when, they don't look at something deeper. So they look at me and they say, first thing they say is she's overweight. That's her problem. It stems from over that. They don't look at, well, what do you eat? What is your environment? What is your culture? What is this? Let me find out why you can't lose weight. Let me check your thyroid. It's not this deep kind of like search. It's just Occam razor is meaning that it's the most simplistic thing that they can find, that they see why you might be suffering. So they just right away will look at me, oh, you're heavy set because you're big. That's it. That's your problem. You're fat. You're this. It doesn't. It
Yeah,
doesn't go deeper than
let's not
that.
go deeper. Yeah, let's into your day to day and your background, you know. And that's really it's the whole picture. It's not just one thing, you
Yes.
know. So
Yes.
and getting into that aspect of it, I hear you. It's
Yes.
and the numbers say too, you know, just kind of reading through different stats, how fibroids affect more Black women than
Yes.
anyone else, and
Yes.
the treatment of it. And it's like my story, you know, it was back and forth like 20 years and just kind of educating myself. And my sisters had it, my mom had it.
Mm.
My mom, they just, you know, again, it's a different time and age group
Yes.
also, straight up hysterectomy. It wasn't even a consideration. Oh, let's just take it out. You know, she already had 6 kids, so they were like, just take it out. Well, not considering how it would affect everything else.
Absolutely.
For myself, um, I had a couple of surgeries to remove them, but again, I wasn't thinking about why it's happening. And I mean, I changed, I did so many things, figured it out later, it was caffeine because I didn't drink coffee and I started drinking coffee for work
Got you.
and school and whatever. So it's like, it'll drink, keep you up or whatever. So you see that caffeine, that was the trigger for me and it was making it grow. And after several surgeries and research and talking to different people, I had a partial hysterectomy. So my hormones are still intact. But, you know, that was also a fight because, you know, you have the people saying, oh, what about having more children?
Right.
And that'll take away your womanhood. You will no longer be a woman. Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. And then you have on the other side, yeah, you should have taken those, you should have had a hysterectomy years ago. Like, it's not an easy decision also. So for
Absolutely.
someone to tell you, that was my research, and it worked for me to do it. But at the same time, it's difficult to walk into a doctor's office and they just book you for surgery. You know, that doesn't work either. So it's like everything else, it's a balance, what works. And my sister, she shrunk hers.
Got you.
So, and she shrunk it with diet and herbs. So, you know, it's so many, we all took different paths, but it was, there's a way, there's help, there's different things, what you do to your body to help you. So again, you know, it's all educating yourself and coming to that way and living and improving your quality of life, because we don't want to live in pain. We don't want to live with the constant bleeding and you know, it affecting our
everyday life.
everything in your life. So especially your, you know, your libido and everything else. So like I say, you know, it's everything. So yeah, so I'm so glad you were able to share that and just kind of tell us, because a lot of women are coming from that path too, and not, oh, well, they said it's this. So like, you did the research, I did the research, how is it going to help? And different things I didn't know people are going through with, especially like endometriosis, how they're little like, my friend told me she had lesions on her pelvic, and it's like, lesions.
Yes.
Oh my,
Yes.
how did that happen? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm thinking cysts, you know, they move around maybe, or shift or press on a nerve, but lesions, you know, and it's just like, wow, how can you deal with it? But like you said, just do the research and start with the inflammatories and inflammatory foods, and starting there. And I always say too, stress is a big killer. And you know, it sends your cortisol levels, and also causes inflammation in your body. So dealing with stress and those what do you call non-inflammatory foods, I think it's at least a good start, right? So it goes deeper than that, and it's for each individual, but at least we can give them a good start or something to think about and go from there. Yeah, yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Let me see. What else? I want to make sure I don't see any questions. If anybody has any questions, no. And you know what? I'm just going to list. Can you give us some foods that can help us? I have, like avoid those that you said avoid, but, the fruits and vegetables, of course, clean eating. If the more raw and non-processed, the better.
The better.
That's kind of the rule. Like people say,
Yeah.
what should I eat? There's a lot of things you can eat. Raw, not processed, fruits, vegetables.
Yeah,
A lot of people,
my goal is to start a farm. My goal is to have a farm.
nice.
That is the ultimate goal, and to but to cultivate our own food so that we can feed people in communities and do things. That's the higher goal for myself. But I can tell you that yes, the foods that people should be consuming to avoid this. Like, remember I said that it's like feeding a monster, right? And what this doesn't want, what these diseases doesn't want, whether it's diabetes, because a person who has diabetes, usually when they go plant-based, they offer medication.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter what disease that people have. I always tell people it doesn't matter what you're suffering from. If you change your diet, it's going to make an impact on you. And the foods, like I said, it was like a monster. What it does not want, it doesn't want fresh fruits and vegetables. It doesn't make it grow. There's a misconception that fruits are bad for people and fruits causes all kind of, this is thing where people tell me, well, isn't sugar from fruits bad? I get that a lot. And I just want to make this clear real quick before I tell you what foods is that. I always say it's kind of like word magic when you speak to maybe a dietitian or a doctor and you might ask them about, what causes, people want to know when they get diabetes, what causes it? And you'll say, well, does sugar cause it? And they'll go, no, sugar is not, it's this. Well, actually, sugar is okay if it's raw honey. It helps your glucose. It actually metabolizes in our bodies correctly. Refined sugar doesn't metabolize. And if something doesn't turn into cellular energy, it turns into disease. If it doesn't turn into cellular, so when we eat food and it doesn't spend the cellular energy. So the one thing that I'll say is that, fruits is okay. It's good for our bodies. Our brains actually take it and it processes correctly in our bodies. So, it doesn't cause insulin resistance, but white refined sugar does. Yeah. So I would say foods like fruits and vegetables, asparagus, green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables is vital for the calcium, for the vitamins in it. That's what everybody loves. That chlorophyll everybody loves to put in it. All it is vegetables in a bottle. That's really what it is. So if they just eat it like spinach, mustards, having, salads is good, incorporating things like arugula, avocados is so good for the body's healing. I say that there's a roadmap to our success. And if we follow that roadmap, it kind of tells us what we need to do. So for instance, mangoes. Like people look at mangoes, but mangoes is shaped like a woman's breast for a reason, and it also prevents breast cancer. You take celery is like for the bones. It also helps with autoimmune diseases. It's so amazing. Tomatoes, if you cut open a tomato, it's shaped like a heart. And it's also good, it protects the heart. Carrots is good for the eyes, beta carotene, you need that. Every part of your body needs nutrition. It's everything, your hair follicles, in order for it to grow, nutrition and minerals. You need that. If you have that, you're going to be fine. If you don't have that in your body, if you're taking in something that doesn't bring value to your body, then what is it doing? We are mega machines, and we do require vitamins and minerals. So I always tell people, if you're going to have salmon, there's people like want to be pescatarians, want to be fish. I speak to everybody. Make sure that you're buying farm fresh, and make sure you never buy farm fresh, ever. Make sure it's always wild. Yeah. Farm means that it has byproducts in it. That means that they're producing it. They're forcing it to, grow. So you never want to have farm food, period. If you're going to have chicken, make sure that it's with no byproducts. It's hormone free. It's no antibiotics in it. Make sure that it's, make sure. And if you do that, along with just adding, I always say, stay away from white rices, anything that breaks down into starches. So quinoa, I eat quinoa. If I can't have quinoa, I do black rice. because it holds its nutrition, it holds its value, like it has vitamin K and B and all those things, and it has things to help you with your cognitive, with your brain. And if I can't have that, then I'll go to wild rice.
Yeah, okay.
If it's not those three, then it's nothing.
Okay. There's buckwheat also, I think a lot of people say that's very good instead of, doing regular white rice. There's option. And what's the other one that my mom likes to make? Bulgur? I'm not sure, but that it's like when it comes to hormonal imbalances, there's certain things that can definitely help. Lentils are good, or
Yes.
certain beans and
Chickpeas.
Chickpeas, yeah. So it's eating to help or balance your particular issue out. And of course, and I should have said a disclaimer, we're not giving medical advice here.
No, yes, disclaimer.
We're not doctors. Always visit your doctor, get your test, get what's going on. We're telling you what helps us, what has helped others, and take that advice if you want to.
Absolutely.
What else? I'm thinking about food. Seaweed, they said, is pretty good.
Yes.
Do that like once a week. Yeah, so it's all the constant balancing. How do I balance out these hormones and deal with life without taking a whole bunch of pills? Because that is not where I want to go.
Exactly.
And there, I'm all about the herbs. Number one, CBD affects all your systems.
Yes.
The inflammation is, it goes down. So like you said, inflammation is one of the main things for all diseases, for the head, the body, the heart, the skin. I have really bad eczema. What? The CBD helps that, because there's nothing more than inflammation of your skin, or the psoriasis, different things like that. So it affects all the inflammation in your body. So I start with CBD. When it comes to hormonal health, maca root, black cohosh, chasteberry. There's so many. Red clover.
That's the black seed oil.
Black seed oil. St. John's wort. There's a lot of herbs that actually help your hormonal levels, or to help balance out your hormonal levels, or your pelvic area, your vaginal area, for different things. So it all again, how do you take it? Are you taking it internally, applying it topically? What do what's affecting you? How can it help? So just go in that route. And like you said, the takeaways from today I have is like, foods can hurt or harm you. So you need to figure out what you're doing to harm yourself, and then figure out what you need to help yourself.
Yes.
And come to that healing, because we all want to heal, because it affects so many things. And I always, not just your body and what the different symptoms and the bleeding and the pain, but you become depressed, I don't want to be in pain all the time. This is depressing, so it not only affects your libido, it affects your mental status.
It does.
So, so those are the things that you want to get to that healing point. And let me see, did I tell people how to reach you?
No.
Tell people how to reach you.
Oh, can I say one more thing about that?
Sure.
I wanted to say gluten, very much stay away from gluten. Gluten is a hormonal disruptor, and it's in everything from your lotions, your shampoos, what you spray in your body is very important. A lot of women spray perfume here, right here. They're like, that's been like the thing people do, and your thyroid is right here. So you're directly affecting it. And gluten is something that's really toxic for our bodies. And I just want to tell people, it's a hormone disruptor. It's a carbonic acid that turns into sulfates, and sulfates in the body turns into cancer. So I just wanted to put that out there. But how you could reach me is on my TikTok. I'm now Gabby Chance. I changed my name. That's going to be my official name. Chance, because Chance, speak speak out loud, speak things out into existence. And I just wanted to, it felt right. So that's the name that's going to be like official name. I will never change it again. So
Okay.
Gabby Chance is GABBYCANTS. And that's how people could find me on my TikTok. On my IG is at more Gabby time still, until I could change that name, and they can find me there and just reach me there. Or you could go to my website, which is terraelixir.com. And that's where you could book consultations or purchase CMOS and things like that.
Okay, and I'll drop those into the comments so people can go ahead, and if you're watching the replay, you can get that. And one thing I didn't say,
thank you so much.
The other thing I wanted to say also, different practices you can do, because yes, we're talking about food and what you can put in your body. And as you said, the practice of what you put on your body.
Yes.
But things like going inward, self-love, self-care, the meditation, journal. I keep saying that, journal, because what happens with the journal is, and I say a food journal or a health journal or whatever, say you're having whatever the issue is, your hormonal journal. And because it's a journey, so writing a journal, but also once you document it, because you want to remember when you go to the doctor and or whatever you choose to go to, it's all documented. And this is, it's you taking charge of your health and being an advocate for yourself and saying, listen, this is what's going on. Let me tell you. Blah, blah, blah. This happens at night, this happens at day. So then you can have something to share or to tell them what's wrong with you. Instead of waiting for them to tell you what's wrong with you.
Absolutely.
How to do it. So it becomes a partnership. So that helps a lot. So even if someone called you and said, hey, Gabby, this is what's going on. That, this is what I wrote down in my journal for the last month. Oh, that I can tell you right away, what to do or how to work on it. So thank you. Yes, we'll reach out to you. I put the contact in your information.
Thank you so much.
Let's see, and reach me at Iris Salon and Spa. Text me, DM me, and that's in my TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. It's Iris Salon Spa and all of them. So text me, email, whatever you need to do. And then info, if you want to email me, info at Iris Salon and Spa. Wave at me, say hi, ask questions on this comment. We do have a Facebook page where we're starting to, more private. So, which is, this is 50. Okay. So if you want to discuss what's going on with you, share, because sometimes when you share also, it's like, oh, I didn't know about that, or that's going to happen to me. And that's happening. You're the 1% out of, I don't know, 50,000 that's happening to. So share, come on, talk, discuss. That's great that we could do that today. And just thanks for being here. And this is on our Sisters Roots and Herbs page. So where I'm developing products, CBD with herbs. So therefore, I needed to do, it helps, it's helping me and my sisters and my mom. So you know what, we're bringing it to you. We've developed it to bring to everyone. So definitely we're gonna have that. So definitely follow, email, tell a friend. I always say tell a friend. And the goal is to live a happier, healthy life, okay? Yes, and we want to go, we're not, if you're just surviving like I was, or we're like you were, because you were just surviving, we want to thrive. So I tell everyone, I always say, I want to live to 100, happy and healthy with a better quality of life. And that's kind of the goal. So yeah, tag a friend, tell a friend. And yeah, well, thank you for being here. And welcome. We had a lovely
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next Tea Tuesday.
Yeah.
It might be about cancer, breast cancer, because it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes, it is.
Reach out to. That wasn't my case, but I share as much what you can to help those that are going through it and support them. They need support. So enjoy and have a great Tuesday, and see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Talk to you. Bye.